This week, the Republican-controlled Senate narrowly confirmed President Trump's former personal criminal defense attorney, Emil Bovee, to a lifetime seat on the Third U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals. It did so following Bovee's contentious 6 months as a senior official at the DOJ. 3 whistleblowers came forward with allegations of misconduct by Bovee, including a claim that he told staff to ignore court orders, which he denied. Despite those allegations, only 2 Senate Republicans joined Democrats in voting no on his confirmation. At 44 years old, Bovee will have a hand in shaping the law for decades to come and will sit just one rung below the Supreme Court. Joining us now, Quinta Jurecic, staff writer for The Atlantic, and Christy Greenberg, MSNBC legal analyst and former federal prosecutor. I want to start with you, Quinta, because you wrote something in The Atlantic this week. Emil Bovee is a sign of the times. Quote, whatever approach Bovee takes from here, his path so far has demonstrated that total sycophancy to the president can be a fantastic career move for ambitious lawyers, especially those for whom other avenues of success might not be forthcoming. Talk about that, because it does feel like he's a canary in the coal mine. Super controversial. A complete sycophant, it seemed, while he was at DOJ doing whatever it seemed that the president wanted. That seems like it's going to continue. And now everybody else can just do the same thing if they want a judgeship or a Supreme Court justiceship.
That's the concern. A lot of what we saw during Trump's first term was this kind of alliance between Trump and the Federalist Society, where Trump would select judges that had kind of been vetted by the society's leader, Leonard Leo, that were sort of coming out of the conservative legal movement. What we've seen recently is that Trump has expressed discontent with the conservative legal movement after he got some rulings that were not so much in his favor from judges that were sort of aligned with the movement, some of whom he had himself appointed. And so I think what we may be seeing in Bovee is a kind of new model of Trump judge, where someone comes up not with, sterling credentials from the Federalist Society, from the conservative legal movement, but someone who has basically distinguished themselves by showing that they will do anything for Trump. And I think that's really not what you want to see in a judge.
Christy, I want to bring up something that's seemingly unrelated, but it is totally related to what we're talking about, and that is now Judge Bovee. Judge Boasberg, months ago, I seem to recall, he had started contempt proceedings for people within the Trump administration over I think it was the deportations of Venezuelans to CCOT. What's happened to Judge Boasberg's contempt proceedings, and explain to everyone how this plays into Bovee's confirmation?
So back in April, Judge Boasberg actually found that the Department of Justice was in criminal contempt of his orders. If you remember, his order was turn the planes around, nobody gets off these planes, and instead they got off the planes and they were brought to the El Salvador prison in blatant defiance of his order. And so the next step Judge Boasberg wanted to take was, okay, now I just need to find out who at the Department of Justice, who gave the order, who ordered the code red, right? Who did this? And so he wanted to gather information about that. As soon as he even issued that order saying, I want to get more facts to find out who did this, 2 Trump-appointed judges on the D.C. Circuit stopped him. And they said, we're having an administrative stay, which basically means it's put on hold. Now, administrative stays typically a few days, maybe a week. Justice Amy Coney Barrett looked at another case where there was a 2-week administrative stay and said, this is bad. This should not take this long. We are now going on several months where there has been an administrative stay, in this case, to halt these contempt proceedings. Why? Because we know from the whistleblower that it was Emil Bovee who gave the order to defy Judge Boasberg's order. And we know from an email that he produced, like he had receipts. There's an email saying that it was now Judge Bovee who gave that order. So if those contempt proceedings had gone through, all of that evidence would have come out. And we would be not talking about Judge Bovee. We would be talking about likely Bovee being held in contempt.
I just want to point out it's Beauvais, not Bovey. No, I'm just joking. It's I'm just joking. We were debating about that. We were debating about that on the set. Quinta, I had a question for you because part of the issue around this nomination is both that he's a sycophant for Trump, a henchman, if you will, Trump's actual lawyer, but also to the question of this whistleblower report is that he asked or suggested directly to defy a court order. And so I'm going to go very global. And if it's too global, I understand. But we're constantly talking about, well, is respect for the rule of law, is the institution of the law, are the courts holding in this incredibly dangerous, perilous time? And I don't know where we stand on that spectrum right now, but I am kind of curious where you, as someone who follows this stuff day in, day out, where do you feel we are?
It's a great question, and I think it's hard to say because, as we've been referencing with the appeals court that put the administrative stay on Judge Boasberg's order, there are a lot of different courts at a lot of different levels. I think that the district courts have by and large been doing a really impressive job under incredibly difficult circumstances. As we've seen with Judge Boasberg, who has been threatened by the president, the Justice Department filed this sort of a meaningless complaint against him. Judges are getting threats. And so in that sense, I think that judges are really doing an incredible job. At the same time, I also think that in some instances, we have seen appeals courts, and certainly the Supreme Court as well, that just seem really willing to cut the administration and the Justice Department slack that at this point, I don't know if we can fairly say they deserve. And we see that in instances like this administrative stay, which, as Christy noted, has been going on since, I think I checked, it's April 28th. It's been going on for months.
Right.
That is really unusual. And the problem is, even if there's a good reason for that, the court hasn't explained. And I think in context of everything going on, of Bovey's nomination and confirmation, that makes it really hard for people who are looking at this in good faith to trust that the appeals court is acting, in the interests of the rule of law.
Christy, I want to read something from Mark Elias in the Democracy Docket, an op-ed, where he said, the DOJ is already laying the groundwork to interfere in the midterm elections, requesting state voter rolls and asking to investigate election machines. It is also unclear why the Department of Justice, which has no role in administering elections, is so desperately trying to gain access to this information, nor why in some instances the requests are coming from prosecutors. Whatever the reason, it's a troubling sign of what's to come. Are you troubled by that?
It's certainly unusual. There have been a lot of unusual things that the DOJ is doing, taking positions, particularly in these election cases that don't quite make sense. One example, in Texas, the redistricting that is going on, they said they were intending to file a lawsuit, but meanwhile there had just been a trial where various witnesses were defending the way that the districts had been, had been set forth, and now all of a sudden they're doing a 180 because the Trump White House told them to. So it seems very much like all of this is political gamesmanship, and that the Department of Justice is very willing to use the tools that they have available to them to assist this White House in its political games. And that is historically never the way the Department of Justice was supposed to be. It was supposed to be nonpartisan. Now you hear U.S. attorneys talking about playing tricks on Democrats, and Alina Habba in New Jersey saying, hey, we want to turn New Jersey red, and I'll use my office to turn New Jersey red. This was never, ever the way that you would hear DOJ officials speak. And so this is all very, very troubling.
Very troubling, and a brand new world. Christy Greenberg, Quinta Jurecic, thank you both very much for coming to The Weekend.